Hey, what's up everyone? I told you I was going to come back for series 2. This is the second video on frog fishing. The first one was the myths of frog fishing. I threw in some teasers in there, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Guys, I appreciate everything. Please subscribe. This is kind of fun, so I get to kind of go over some things, like things that I designed, some things that maybe y'all don't even know about what we put into this popping perch, our frogs, and how we made them. So I'm excited about this one. So let's dive on in. All right, I've kind of talked in the past about how we design these things, and I'll just kind of go do a real quick one, a quick overview on how we designed it. When we were bass fishing, we weren't really ever going after frogs, mimicking frogs. We were really going after mimicking perch. And that's why, we designed a popping perch the way we did. And it's a lot easier to make one like this pad perch. Let me get this out for y'all, to really look like a perch, right? I mean, it's got almost the exact same form, the fins, the eyes, and like I said, it looks the same on the back as well. That was always a big deal for me. I always got mad when they made all these top waters look so good on top. That was never what the fish was seeing, and they'd have all these great, like 10 different colors on top, and the bottom was always the same. Like, it was always the same color no matter what the top was. So we always wanted to make sure that the bottom and the top looked the same, okay? Really make it look like a actual perch or bluegill. But it was a lot easier to build these and make them look right. The harder part was making the popping perch. And the reason that is you can't make a bait work like this and look like that, right? It has to be a little bit more streamlined. It has to have the cup on the front. And we did put some fins and make it look right. The tail and everything, but let's kind of dive on in as to why this bait works so well. First, like I said, I always explain everything. We built this thing like a boat, and what you have on a boat is a top cap and a bottom, right, and the hull. The top cap is kind of the pretty part of the boat, right, when everything looks good, and it's really just a flat surface. You can kind of do anything you want to with the top cap of a boat. Same thing with the top cap of this bait. The bottom, the hull of your boat, is kind of what makes it ride and perform the way it does. That's what we did with this popping perch. So everything on the bottom is designed to make it work, especially with the mouth, the tail, all of it combined. So we had to make it a little bit more streamlined because it's going to work better, and we'll get into that about how it works. I'll show you what it can actually do. But first, I said I was going to tell y'all about one little myth in here about bending hooks, okay? So here's the best way I can explain it, guys. Here's a popping perch, okay? Take it out. I'm gonna do some things to this popping perch. One is, here's a flipping hook, guys, right? Right out of the package. Owner flipping hook, love them, right? This is the hook on the popping perch. If you notice, they look the same, correct? And what I mean by that, they all come out like this, they come up and they go flat again. Do you see what I'm saying? It goes flat again, right? Same thing with these. They come out and they go flat. See that? They look the same. So here's my question, guys. If you take this flipping hook, okay? I'm just gonna bend it out. I'm gonna bend this hook out, right? Now my question is this, guys. Now maybe this is a little overdrawn and a little overdone, but how many of you guys are gonna go flip with that hook once it's bent out? That's my only question. Like, I've never seen in any other style of fishing where someone would take a hook and bend it out, right? I mean, we see that, and I'm throwing this away. I'm throwing this hook away. And I do the same thing. If I bent those hooks out, it's gonna look like this. I mean, we've never done that in any kind of fishing. So I don't know why I would do it to this. There's only a couple reasons why we lose fish, guys. One, we lose fish on everything. I don't care what it is. Everyone's lost fish on every single type of hook. It's fishing, guys. You never really know where you hook one, okay? You can hook one way down deep. You can hook one in the side. You can skin hook them. I mean, I can't tell you how many times you hook them way in the back of the mouth and you just get the skin, and you can literally just pop anything and it'll come out. So I mean, just a little bit more pressure, anything, you just never really know. I would say from seeing people over years fish, I'd say the number one thing people do is not set the hook hard enough. So it's a combination of not setting the hook hard enough and not having the right rod. You can set the hook as hard as you want to with the wrong rod and still never really penetrate what you have. Guys, this is a 3/0 hook, right? And look, the way we make our hooks, because we're fishing a frog in such heavy cover and with such heavy equipment, we make our hooks really, really big. Everyone should. And most frog companies do. They put a big hook in there. This is not your regular little worm hook. So I mean, it's thicker. You're gonna have to drive that hook further into a fish's mouth and harder. I just want to let y'all know, I'm not throwing a frog with hooks like that on it. I'm not. And if you notice, guys, on even years ago, okay, when I first started frog fishing, I mean back when we were throwing sumo frogs and spro frogs and scum frogs, you know, I always looked for a frog that looked with hooks like that. Every once in a while, and I'm gonna have to draw a picture because I don't really want to, I don't have any of the other frogs. I just never have bought one. But a lot of times you'll see the hooks that kind of go up like this, okay? So they'll kind of come up and they kind of point upwards, okay? So the hook doesn't come all the way and then straighten back out. They just kind of come up like that. Guys, that's the hook I never want on a frog. I've seen some companies do it, but I don't want hooks that aren't all the way around. I mean, every hook we have has that bend and then straightens back out. That's what keeps them on there. That's the whole deal of how a hook works. So when you see a frog that has the hooks that don't come all the way around, and I might draw a picture later, they look like that, okay? And the points stick up. Guys, I don't want that. That's not, it's easier for guys to maybe hook one, but it's like 1,000 times easier to lose one. So that's something I don't want. So I wanted to kind of go over that with y'all about, you know, our popping perch, our pad perch, every one of them is designed just the same way. You can see, I mean, you've got a great hook in there, and look at that clearance, guys. That's a big deal, is to have all that clearance. Let's talk about that for a second. We're going to talk about this clearance in the hook, okay, and why that's a big deal, and why, if y'all can hear that, you need your frog to compress, okay, guys? So when you set the hook, if this thing doesn't squeeze in and squeeze out all the air, when you set the hook, you're not getting all this penetration. It'll be more like this. So you want your frog pad perch to compress. That's why you have to have air to be able to come in and out of it, so it can do that, so you can get all that good clearance when you set the hook. That's very important. So that's why I fish with what I'll do. I'll kind of go over the setup right now. This is Falcon's new Cara 7'3". This is their Amstead Extra Heavy. This is the same rod as the old Falcon Cara, and it says swim bait. If you notice, I'm always fishing with this rod, like always. I sight fish with it, I worm fish with it, I frog fish with it, I jig fish with it, throw a spinnerbait on it. I throw all kinds of stuff on that rod. It is my favorite rod. So when they had some new prototypes, they instantly gave me one, because I was like, I don't care about any other rod, I just want this rod to go try out. And it's the rod I was talking about on the other video, that I was like, hey, if there's anything different, it's just like a tad bit lighter maybe. I mean, that's it. I can't find anything different with it. So once again, guys, I still have the Lews 300 7-2-1 reel. Like I said, if you can see, guys, I still tons and tons of line on there. I still got that Sunline plasma braid, 60 pound. Once again, you can see green. I mean, it is dark green, and it stays like that. So I have my setup is heavy. I'm trying to break my rod in reel and line and bait on every single hook set. I say that because I've been doing it for years and I haven't really broken anything, but I try to. And that way, I'm trying to take as many variables out as I can. And one of them is I want to make sure I get a good hook set in them. I never have to worry about the hook set. What else do I have to worry about if I hook them that good and that deep and that hard? Chances are, once I hook them, they're not coming off. So that's where I see guys with the hook, they want to bend them out because they say they're not getting a good hook in them or they're losing them. Guys, I really honestly believe it has nothing to do with the hook. It has to do with them setting the hook. I've tried to explain that to guys, and I would say most of the guys that frog fish around me believe the same thing. That I just don't believe their setup is correct. I don't think they have the right rod, to be honest with you. They might not even have the strong enough line or the strong enough reel or their drag set too. I mean, I don't even have drag set on this. I tightened it all the way down. Lews is actually gave me another reel that I have. It's this one. No one's even seen this thing yet. We're doing some things with this that are trying to make like to where there is no drag. I mean, there is no, I'm not going to talk about this, but I mean, this reel is literally one of a kind, and we're trying different things out for this style of fishing. So with that being said, I just want to let y'all know I'm not throwing a frog with hooks like that on it. Here's the big tip, guys. Okay, now I'm going to get one out. So a lot of the Popping Perches of the old had a hole on top. It was a design that was good at first. Guys, over many months, the mold, you know, starts to change, and that hole started getting different and then maybe a little bit bigger and started letting water in. For the past year and a half, going on 2 years now, we have put the hole in the back. Okay, there's a lot of reasons for that. Like I said, one, it compresses. Here's the main reason. Okay, and I'm gonna show you all this and show you what it can do in the water. If this thing ever gets water in it, your next cast, okay, when you throw it back out there, your next cast shoots all that water through that hole out. So on the water, it sits just like that. Okay, right? Looks good. And I want this thing on top of the water. I really want it as flat as it can be. Okay, I don't want it sitting like this. I want it sitting flat. Okay, so if you make a cast, that action of that cast is going to sling water out. Okay, and let's show you why. So if I go like this in the water, get it all underneath the water and everything. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all. So watch, get that tail out of the way. Now I'm gonna squeeze that bait. See all that water come out? So it can get water in there. Now watch this. Watch, guys. So I'm gonna stick it in the water, okay? Now I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna make a cast, but I'm not actually gonna make a cast. So if I was gonna make a cast, okay? Now, see, I can set that back on the water, and look at that. It doesn't sink, it's fine. Now there might be a little water in there, because they all get a little water, but usually there's not, right? So like I said, once again, if I go like this, right, bring it up and squeeze, water comes out. Do the same thing, right? Pretend I'm gonna make a cast. Almost no water comes out, right, guys? So that's what's pretty cool, is that every single time you make a cast, look at this, I'm gonna get this thing full of water, okay? And I'm gonna make a cast with it. And I can work it and do everything I wanna do, right? It's working out there, look, works just the same. And I can bring it on in, even after that cast. Look at it. It sits perfect in the water, right? You see that? So I don't have to squeeze water out. My next cast, if there was any water, would squeeze it out, but there's not any. That's what's really cool. So, you know, even if a little bit of water gets in there, even if it does, say you make the longest cast in the world, even if you throw it out there, your next cast is gonna go get any water out of this bait. So no more squeezing, no more doing things like that. And you might feel water in this every once in a while because you caught a fish or something. You're gonna have to get used to not squeezing water out. You're just gonna have to say, oh yeah, my next cast is gonna get it out. That's what's really cool, man. Do you know how much time that's gonna save y'all to never have to squeeze water out of this thing ever again? So I'm not saying they're all at stores, but you can look on the package. If you look in the package and you see a hole by the eye, guys, dig around and find the ones that have the hole in the back. If you don't see a hole there, it's 1,000% on the bottom end. Like I said, those are the ones that never get water in them. Like I said, they can, but you're gonna cast it out. And we've done it for years now, 2 years going on it. I probably had it for 3. I mean, I've never squeezed water out of this thing. But here's some other things I wanted to show y'all.